tomorrow night, 5:30 at the Etihad. And to be honest, I, for one, am not looking forward to this game. But, you know, we do have kind of previous form against these lot. 3 wins in our last 4 games against Man City.
I mean, the likelihood is one way or another we're going to get blown away.
Yeah,
That's definitely true.
He got it in there.
Straight away.
But yeah, if you do hear any weird noises during this stream, it is the adverse weather conditions outside. It feels
uncontrollable,
like
yeah.
It feels like the roof of this studio is about to blow off, really.
Yeah,
but,
so if anything happens, apologies. But yeah, look, tomorrow, as we all know, we're in for a long day, let's be honest. It's going to be very, very difficult. I think that actually, to be fair, the way City play, I think it's a bit different to say someone like Chelsea, where Chelsea have a bit of that pragmatism about them. City are like just so offensive. Like I know they have the best defensive record in the league, but that's more to do with because they keep the ball all the time rather than. Yeah, that's pretty much.
And also top quality players in defence, Ruben Diaz.
I mean, yeah.
Cancelo.
So when teams do break on them, they obviously have those players there. But I think if we do approach the game similarly to how we did against Liverpool, I do give us a chance to create some chances. I don't give us a chance to win, but definitely. If we can do that, if we can have quick passes in behind, just make sure we're exploiting Son's pace, make sure we're getting it to the forward players as quickly as possible into space, then there will be. I'm telling you, there will be opportunities for us there. It's whether we're good enough to play the ball where it needs to be played into space at the right times, like we did time and time again when we did play Liverpool. We were doing that like loads in that game.
But
so there will be
chances.
chances.
The matter is, we struggle massively against teams that press us.
Correct.
Massively.
That's why we need to play the 3 in the middle to combat that.
Yeah.
Liverpool pressed us, and we were able to combat that really effectively.
Because they had many missing players in the midfield that day that really let us.
Yeah, and we had also missing players. I think it was more to do with the tactics than anything. I think we tactically played really, really strongly that game. And we need to have a similar approach. Have the 3 in the middle, looking for the run very, very quickly to Son, because they're going to leave space. They always leave space in behind Man City, just like Liverpool do. They always put a lot of caution to the wind. So we've got to make sure we're exploiting that. And then when we're off the ball, hopefully Dyer's back. We have to be compact. We have to make sure we're not allowing very easy passes through the middle. We have to make sure we force them out wide and to force them to get crosses in. We have to clog up the central area, which is why it's essential for me to play a 3-5-2. We have to. I think there's no other formation we can play than 3-5-2 tomorrow.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And it just leaves ourselves a bit like if we do play a 3-5-2 and one of our boys in the middle gets injured, it leaves us in a very difficult position.
Yeah, because Skip's probably going to be out.
Skip, I think he's definitely out. So Skip's out, which leaves us with Bentancur, Højbjerg and Winks to play in that 3. Obviously, Winks, he's been terrible recently, but he has been a lot better in a 3 than he is in a 2.
Yeah, his 2 best games this season, Liverpool and Leicester, both in the 3 in the midfield. And I also think he can pick out passes from deep for runners. Like I thought against Liverpool, I thought he was exceptional at doing that. I thought he was absolutely pinpoint about 3 or 4 times in behind for runners to run onto, and it created so many opportunities. And I think tomorrow, early doors, we're going to surprise a few people. That's my prediction. I think we're going to come out, we're going to create a few chances, we'll probably miss a few, and people will think, oh, we're in this game, oh, look at this, we're flying out the traps. And then after about 20 minutes, after about half an hour, it'll be like City are settled in the game, and then they're going to start to dominate, and then it's going to be backs against the wall stuff. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I brought it to your attention before, but looking at the last 5 Premier League games we've played against them, only 1 loss.
Not
1
bad.
draw, 3 wins, and obviously that loss. But
most of them at home.
Can you read anything into the form going into
how many
this
wins
one?
have been away? None. So we got a draw. That was a lucky draw, I remember, 2-2. And then you got this doesn't even include the Champions League games, which were the games just before this as well. Which we obviously got we lost 4-3 away, but we won 1-0 at home. So we don't have a terrible record against them in the Premier League. So we seem to, for some reason, they seem to struggle to play against us.
We seem to have their number at home.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what it is. It's not even like they play badly. I don't think a lot of the time. It's just we just seem to somehow get the result against them at home, but they seem to just miss loads of chances. I think how many penalties they missed against us. Aguero missed one, Gundogan missed one. Like, they seem to miss penalties and miss easy chances.
Did Rodri have one against us? He scored?
I think he scored one, yeah. That was last season. So
always giving away penalties against this lot.
it's because they got tricky players. Bernardo, Sterling, Mahrez, they're the trickiest players that you can have in the Premier League. So they're always, especially with our clumsy defenders, there are always going to be opportunities to win penalties against us. Aurier was giving away so many. I think he gave away 2 of those penalties, Aurier. So that's one thing we have to make sure we're on guard for. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow if he goes with if Dia's fit. Does he take Davis out? Does he stick with Sanchez? Does he play Romero, Dyer, Davis, which is probably the most likely? I think in terms of
I think he's got to go Romero, Dyer.
I think in terms of defensively, in terms of like quality of defensive player, I think those are the best 3. But you know, Sanchez can cover a lot of ground. He might be able to put out quite a few fires with his pace.
I really don't want Sanchez playing tomorrow. I really don't want Sanchez with the way he's playing, the confidence he's showing. I mean, I think it's a recipe for disaster. I get what you're saying in terms of his pace and stuff like that. But when you're looking at the defence in terms of Dyer, Romero and Davis, yeah, Davis looks like the weak link there and definitely will be. But on the other side, Romero, I think he's a bit more suited going out to the right. He's not really that leader in the middle as yet. Eric Dyer is imperative because he's one that always has a big game against Man City, and he always turns up for this game against Man City, whether it be home or away. Even in the cup final, I remember he was brilliant. So I think it's got to be those 3 at the back tomorrow.
I agree, and I hope we go with Emerson and not Doherty. Even though I'm not a massive at the moment. Emerson's not doing great. I think we have to go with him because at least out in possession on the breakaway, he does give us an opportunity to get out. Even if he doesn't have the quality, he'll be there. He'll be on the right-hand side as an option. Doherty just won't. He just won't be there. He'll pen us in too much. At least Emerson has the ability to stretch it a bit more than Doherty can.
And that's why it's even more imperative to not play Sanchez as well, because playing Sanchez on that right-hand side makes our right-hand side even that much more weaker with the right wing back there. You need Romero there to help him out a bit, help the right wing back out a bit.
You're right. So it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult tomorrow, near impossible. Let's be honest with how City play. If we're gonna get anything, we're gonna have to ride our luck. We know that Lloris is going to be have to be on top of his game because
hopefully he's got his mistakes out of his system now.
Because even if we do everything right, this is the thing about Man City. We could do everything right. We could have the perfect game, and then De Bruyne can pop up with a 30-yarder and just smash into the top corner. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's that they just have from every single angle. You know, you can block it. You can mark their wingers to perfection, and then Cancelo will pop up with the perfect cross.
And not even that. We can outmark these players out of the game, and then with half an hour to go, 20 minutes to go, when it's not working, they got superstars on the bench they can bring on.
Exactly.
And completely change the game. So, I mean, it's a very much an uphill task. And when you're looking at the form of Man City coming into it, I mean, they are just blowing away teams at the moment. Look at that home form. 5 wins in their last 5. 4 wins in their last 5 away games with 1 draw in there. Scoring 10 goals in their last 5 and conceding only 2. So, I mean, that paints the whole picture of what for Man City are going through at the moment. They look like...
brilliant.
Yeah, they look like champions-elect already, although Liverpool as well are kind of breathing down their necks a little bit at the moment. And Spurs, on the other hand, are just kind of... We thought we were onto something when we played Leicester and then we played Brighton, and really good performances in those games. But then last 2 games have just fallen off a cliff. And I'm really scared for this game this weekend. I really am.
Yeah, and you should be. You bloody should be, because Man City are at the moment the best team in the league. There's no doubt about that. Even me, I'm like at the beginning of the season, I really thought there were going to be at least 3 teams challenging for this league. I thought Liverpool were going to be back at it, which they've been great.
Everyone thought 4.
And then Chelsea, I thought they'll definitely. I thought we had Chelsea to win the league. I thought it was at least going to be a race. I thought it was going to be a challenge, but City have just blown everyone away. It's been like Liverpool have been pretty good this season, and yet they're still at the moment. I know they've got games in hand, but I think at the moment they currently sit 9 points off Man City. Like, that's ridiculous. They should not be that far away from a team as good as Liverpool. Yet they are, because they've been that consistent. They've been that good, and they got that so many options in every position. It just seems unbeatable. And also, it almost seems like the players, even if a player's not playing, like, they don't kick up a fuss. They know that they will get the opportunity because Pep just rotates all the time, and it's like everyone's happy to play their part because they know they're part of a bigger thing, which is to win the league, and they're all happy to play their role. And every player, even sub players and whatever, they're all very important to this squad because of how Pep rotates. They all get significant game time.
Yeah. When you're looking at Man City's team coming into it, they've got 3 issues coming into it: Jack Grealish and Gabriel Jesus out, and obviously Mendy is Mendy. In terms of that lineup, I mean, it's just world-class players in every single position. Single position. And then obviously, like I was talking about before, the bench as well, which is probably 5 or 6 world-class players there as well. So, I mean, how the hell do we combat this team? I mean, we've spoken about it a bit earlier in the stream, but it's easier said than done, isn't it, Sim?
Definitely. It's near impossible. That's why they've won pretty much all their games this season by and large. I don't know. We somehow beat them at the beginning of the season. I think now looking back, you have to say we just caught them on a bad day. And even then, like, for the first 10 minutes, they could have been 2-0 up, couldn't they? And we rode our luck. And then I did think we deserved it in the end. But, like, there were definitely times in that game we rode our luck and we got a bit lucky. And we've seen that City, ever since then, have just gone on strength to strength. They had players coming back from the Euros as well. They were a bit tired. And now they're in full flight right now.
Perfect game time to play them, first game of the season.
Exactly. I think there was a bit of extra energy in the Tottenham ranks because the whole Kane situation, a lot of the players maybe wanted to show we can do it without Harry Kane, and players stepping up. Exactly. Home game, first game of the season. So we had a lot in our favour and we got the win in the end. But I think we can now conclude that we got a bit lucky that day, and we're gonna need a lot more luck than that in this game to get a result. I mean, Man City they're nearly. It's like they remind me of the old Barcelona team under Pep. Like, you just look at their team and you just think about how the hell are we ever going to stop them, and it was just impossible. It was like nearly impossible.
If they have an off day.
That's literally, and you have to be perfect as well.
Yeah.
They have to have an off day, and you have to be absolutely perfect, because they can win easy on an off day. They do it in their sleep, winning off days. So you need to be perfect while they have an off day, and that's the only way you can beat them.
If you bring up the one to watch graphic, I mean, there's 2 players on here, and De Bruyne and Sterling, but you could literally put 15 players into this ones to watch. But Kevin De Bruyne recently is absolutely playing some scintillating stuff, because a lot of people were saying that, De Bruyne has gone a little bit off the boil, even though he was still playing well. But now he's really come back to the fore, scoring goals for fun, great goals as well, orchestrating things in the middle for them. And Sterling, that goal he scored the other night in the Champions League, what a goal that was.
Yeah. Oh, no, and Sterling has completely added that to his game. He's a brilliant finisher now. And that was the only thing always missing from him, just that elite level finishing. And he definitely has that. The level of goals he's scored in the past few seasons definitely shows it. It's a shame he never really shows it for England. That's the only thing I'll say about Sterling. For some reason, he doesn't seem to be a consistent goal scorer, especially at tournaments for England, unlike other players. But Sterling has been easy 20-goal season player for a few years now, and that's all thanks to Pep. Pep really brought that out of him, and he's been brilliant recently. He scored a hat-trick not so long ago. He got Player of the Month, didn't he, for I think December. He's really coming to the fore. Raheem Sterling, he's going to be nearly, and also on the side he's on, it's going to be nearly impossible to stop him. As I say, De Bruyne has been in great form. I think for the first half of the season, he wasn't contributing as much when it comes to goals and assists. But I think it's now 5 goals in his last 8 games. He's now really starting to provide again. And I think Bernardo Silva could be a shout for Player of the Year the way he's playing. This is a player they nearly got rid of in the summer as well. And he stayed, and he's been absolutely sensational. He's really stepped into those boots that David Silva left. and I think he's stepping up in a massive way. And he can play right wing, he can play centre mid, he can play on the left, he can play in the whole central attacking mid. He's a special player, and all these players are just
and another
impossible
player
to stop.
who's really impressing as well, and has been impressing for the last couple of years now, is Riyad Mahrez.
Yeah,
I mean, what a player he is on the flanks. I mean, such trickery. He's not the fastest player in the world, but he's still got a good amount of pace to him. And when he's on his day, he's too hot to handle. You just can't handle Mahrez on his day.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Mahrez had a pretty good record against us when he was playing for Leicester. He used to always score like cutting in from the left, from the right hand side, and just bending it to the top corner. I remember at least a couple of goals he'd done that against us. I think he's been pretty brilliant ever since signing for Man City. And apart from maybe his first season. And I think this season again, when they've needed him, he stepped up in a massive way. And but you can just name their whole team and say how amazing and world class they are. And that's the thing. They play as a team, and yet they also have incredible individual talent. So even when it's not clicking as a team, they've got incredible passing and moving and incredible interplay between the players. But if that's not happening, then Mahrez can just take it on himself and just say, all right, I'm just going to drill past goal players and shoot. Or De Bruyne can just whip it in from 30 yards, or Sterling. Like, that's why they're so good. That's why they're as good as they are, because of the tactics and the individual. Well. Exactly. You know what I mean? And that's the difference.
They've got like 6 or 7 players in the top 20 goal scoring charts or something in the Premier League this year.
Yeah.
In terms of like Foden, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Mahrez, who else? Sterling. I mean, they've just literally got goals everywhere. And when you look at Spurs, we've literally got goals in 2 players.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's like when you look at our front line, it's like we've got Kane and Son, who are brilliant, and you could even argue they could get in the City team, Kane and Son. But if Sterling and or Foden and Mahrez, let's say they all got wiped out today, injured, then they would have Grealish, they would have Jesus, they would have so many other players to come in, and they could play Bernardo on the wing. They would have Gundogan. Like, they've just got so many players to fill in. If Kane and Son are injured, like, we're done. Like, that's it. There's no chance of us getting a goal in this game. Yeah. That's always been the difference between our kind of squads and squads of teams who are above us. We just rely too heavily on certain players, and we put the pressure on them, and then we never sign players to allow them to take the pressure off our main players. And then they either get burnt out, they get injured, or even tactically they get found out, because teams are wise to it and they just mark them out the game. And that's why we're so easy to play against a lot of the time. Yeah. And see, the threat can come from anywhere.
Literally, I mean, it's so hard to be to show any sort of positivity for this game, but can we show any?
The only thing I would say is, again, the Liverpool game was a bit of a blueprint of how you can exploit a team who throws a lot of caution to the wind, like Man City do. When they press all the way up, they literally leave players on the halfway line when they have the ball. They squeeze you, they try to suffocate you. But if you can somehow win the ball back and then just play very quick balls in behind, I think we have to be like, I think against Liverpool we were risky. And I think we have to be risky again. We have to make sure we're leaving Kane and Son up there. That's the only way we can get anything from this game. We have to leave them up front. You have to rely on the 3 in the middle and everyone else to be able to win the ball back and make tackles and be compact. And then when we get the ball, Kane and Son have to make sure, as Klopp say, they're on their bike and they're just running into space. And that's the only way we're going to get anything out of this game, is doing that, I think.
Would you be tempted at all to play Kulu as one of the 3 midfielders in the middle? Because he's the one that can really distribute the ball to the front line.
I wouldn't. I think we need all those players to be in the middle. I think we need them to be midfielders who are going to be properly combative to make sure we're stifling. Because Kulu, like, I'm sure he'll work hard, he'll run around, but he needs to have that awareness. He needs to have that defensive mindset of not letting players run off him, being positionally aware, knowing where he needs to be. I think Bentancur, Winks and Højbjerg are more likely to have that. And I think, especially with Bentancur and Winks, they have a pass on them that they'll be able to find a player in behind. So I'm not too worried about that. So maybe
Højbjerg does on the off occasion.
Exactly. So even I think in this occasion, maybe in the second half, if we need a goal or something, I'll bring him on, but I wouldn't start him. wouldn't
What
start.
I'm worried about in this game is, we can start well in first 10, 20 minutes, but as soon as one thing goes wrong, I'm worried about the mentality of this team and completely folding and, going out and getting absolutely battered. And maybe there's a bit of a blueprint as well when you look at the Arsenal game against Man City and how they played against them, especially in the first half. Yeah, I know it all fell apart for them in the second half after that sending off and stuff like that, but when you look at Arsenal, nobody gave them a chance going into that game, and they played really well. And Man City didn't have an answer for them for at least 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe we can use that kind of blueprint and kind of...
They lost at home to Palace,
Yeah.
didn't they, early in the season?
They do have these kind of results every so often.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it seems like they're just winning every game. But yeah, every so often it can happen. Who's to say it can't be against us? But it's gonna have to be a lot of luck. And I think the problem at the moment as well is Arsenal went into that game very high on confidence, if I remember rightly. I'm pretty sure they won a bit of a winning streak, like they were playing well. And obviously at home as well, but with the Arsenal fans behind them. And then they had a good performance. They still end up losing, but they had a good performance by and large. Us is a very different situation, the way we're at the moment, how we're playing, 3 losses on the bounce. So I think it's going to be very difficult, but no doubt about it for me, Conte will have a plan. I think he will have a way he thinks of best combating this Man City team. I'm praying he goes for 3 in the middle, because I think if we go 4-3-4-3, then we literally might as well give them. I think we're going to be struggling big time, because Man City will just find it so easy to play around us. So it'll be too simple to play around us if we play 3-4-3. So we have to play 3 in the middle, and we just have to hope that we can catch them in behind. And I think, as I said, I really believe there will be a few moments. We might even go 1-0 up. I wouldn't be surprised to go 1-0 up in this game. I think early on there'll be moments where we will catch them in behind. But it's how we react to when under periods of sustained pressure. That's going to tell what happens in this game.
There will be periods.
There will be about 80
sustained
There'll
pressure.
be about 85 minutes of sustained pressure. We might have a 5-minute spell dotted around the whole 90 minutes where we have the ball.
1 minute there.
Exactly. More like 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there, and that's what it will be like. I'm no doubt about it. But there will be chances for us, because I think we do have good quality players that can hurt Man City. Like Son has shown many times he can play very well against Man City. Harry Kane, I think, despite
we've got individuals, but do we have a team? That's the problem. That is the issue.
Well, I'm saying we have individuals that can hurt them, so if we can find them in behind in space, we'll have chances. And I think we do with Bentancur and Winks. I do think we have enough quality there to be able to find those passes, even under pressure. But it's whether I'm not actually too worried about us creating chances. I actually think we will. But I think defensively, it's whether we can first of all where we can hold them back, which I really doubt. Whether we can not buckle under sustained pressure, and then if we do concede, whether we don't let our heads drop and say, "Oh, this is game over. It's going to be a long day," and if we do concede early, whether we just immediately let our heads drop, or if we stick in there and say, "Look, it's only 1-0. If we can just still keep it tight, there'll be chances for us." It's all about mentality. So a lot of things have to go right, and a lot of things have to not go wrong for us to get anything from this game.
So having said all that, what is our score predictions?
3-1 City.
Yeah,
I think we will score. I do have a feeling we are going to score, but I can't see us holding them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult. Difficult's understatement, to be honest. I can't even see us getting a goal in this game. I really can't. Man City's defence is looking brilliant. Their whole team is looking brilliant. Like I said, they got about 15, 16 absolute superstars in their squad. The way our confidence is at the moment, the way we're playing football at the moment, it's just not great. Not great on the eye, not great in practice, and I can see us getting thumped this weekend, especially if we concede early. If we concede early, I can see us on the end of a hiding here. So I'm going to go 3-0 to Man City, unfortunately. I can't see
3-0.
us. Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to think of ways that we're actually going to get something from this game. But when Spurs fans are feeling like this, sometimes the team do pull through.
I remember against Liverpool, everyone was saying it was over before it began, and we somehow pulled out a performance. So you never know. you never know. Maybe there can be something for us. But the way City are playing in the moment, it's going to be nigh on impossible.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, in the games where Spurs fans think we're definitely going to win, we always lose. So
always, whenever we go into a game saying, "Oh, we got it today," I'm really confident. Every time we lose, every single time. Without doubt.
Well, that is our match preview for the game tomorrow night, 5:30 at the Etihad.